watching college softball on the SEC Network. Today, the Alabama Crimson Tide get ready to begin this busy weekend at Rhodes Stadium, hosting 5 games, and today it's the first contest against Michigan State here in Tuscaloosa. Hello again, everybody. I'm Roger Hoover, joined alongside a former Tide standout, Rachel Bobo. Glad to have you with us for this broadcast. And for Michigan State, looking for some consistency at this time of the year, coming in with a 4-10 record so far.
Yes, absolutely. They are a great program and headed by a great coach, and are really just going to have to be consistent this weekend and not be afraid to go at these players and just really take it to the Crimson Tide. For the Crimson Tide, consistent results to this point because of the strong pitching, and we're going to get to see Montana Fouts today in Game 1. Yes, Montana Fouts is a standout pitcher, using her upper speed in the 60s and even low 70s, just really fooling these batters with her rise ball and really just, again, going at them and just making them, essentially look ridiculous. Just because of her speed and accuracy that she has. And Murph really harped on that earlier this week about how she pinpoints her pitches very well and does not miss very often. So excited to see her out in the circle. 2 weeks in a row, she's been the SEC Freshman of the Week, or Pitcher of the Week. She is putting together some terrific results for the Crimson Tide. Thought maybe we'd see her later this evening against Southern Miss, but today she gets the ball in this first contest for the Crimson Tide in the Crimson Classic, taking on a team once again from the Big Ten in Michigan State. Last week, as you mentioned, impressive results against Minnesota. Yes, same thing. Getting 2 big wins against them. They're a great program, have really come out this year and just had a great start and played well here at Rhodes, but unfortunately came up short both times in I believe a 0-1 loss and then a 7-2 loss, I believe. So just a really great program, and it, again, just was not enough to beat the Crimson Tide. Charla Eccles, Ebony Eccles, and Katie Ladd due up for the Spartans in the top of the first inning. Montana Fouts starts this game just off the plate for ball 1. One thing that's going to be key here is these batters are going to have to be picky about which pitches they swing at, just making sure that they're attacking the pitches that they can drive and be successful with. Charla Eccles hitting .382. Right to second, there's Wallace, and there's the first out. Already some good work for the Crimson Tide defense. Looking at the outfield for the Crimson Tide, Alabama with Mira Schroeder in left, Alyssa Brown in center, and then KB Sides in right field. On the infield, Maddie Morgan at third, Claire Jenkins at shortstop, and we just saw Wallace and Tao on the right side combined for the first out, and Bill is catching for Montana Fouts. Now Ebony Eccles takes a strike. Again, Montana Fouts, is one of those pitchers that is going to go right at the strike zone. And again, you have to be ready when you step in the box, just like on that last pitch. She put it right where this girl needed it and just didn't execute. Ooh. Big swing and a miss, 0-2. There's the rise ball again. That's going to come right at you. It is foolish, especially when it's coming in at upper 60s, low 70s. Fouts looking for her first strikeout. Eccles stays alive at the plate. .323 hitter, and also one of just 2 seniors on this team. This is a very young roster for Michigan State. Yes, they are, and again, that's just new opportunity for new players to step up and to really just get an opportunity to hit the field. When you've had a predominantly older team and you graduate most of your roster, that just gives opportunity for new players and new faces to shine. Again, Eccles fouls one off. Jackie Joseph is the head coach for Michigan State, now in her 25th season. She's really built a nice program in East Lansing where they're passionate about softball. Yes, they just have really, Coach Joseph has done a great job there, just staying and building her program, I guess, for 25 years now, and just has done a great job. 0-2 again. 1-2. The Crimson Tide were getting ready to celebrate his strikeouts. Home-plate umpire James Colsey had other thoughts. That's a great watch by Ebony Eccles there. Just a super close pitch. Great pitch by Montana, but again, not close enough to get the strikeout. Now the 1-2. Got it. 2 gone. Oh, here's the pitch again. Just a tough pitch right there by Montana Fouts. That rise ball, and just unfortunately not in the zone, I guess, to where she could hit it.
So Fouts getting a ground ball out and a strikeout. Now she'll go after Katie Ladd to try and end the inning in 1-2-3 fashion. Strike one. Ladd hitting .250 for Michigan State. May have had a slow start to the year, but it really came alive in Phoenix, hitting .417 over the weekend last weekend. 2 doubles, a triple, and a homer. 6 runs batted in. Takes strike 2.
Again, that right there is a great setup by Montana Fouts, coming in on her and getting that first strike and then making her look out, thinking that maybe it was off the plate a little bit. Great pitch selection by Stephanie Benbeck pro throw, and just a great execution by Montana Fouts.
The 0-2. Just a bit low, 1-2. Second consecutive week, Fouts the SEC Freshman of the Week. Pair of wins last weekend. It's the Golden Gophers. Now taking on Michigan State. Her 1-2. Check swing, and Ladd will stay at the plate with the count at 2-2.
That's a great job by Ladd there, just making sure to stay off this rise ball here. And again, that is a tough pitch, especially when it's coming in so fast, to see early and really just lay off of. So great job.
Got her swinging. Back-to-back strikeouts for Fouts. Helps her collect a 1-2-3 inning to begin this ball game against Michigan State. A couple of strikeouts of Eccles and Ladd. It's the Crimson Tide to the plate when we come back. Already a good start for the Crimson Tide, with Montana Fouts working a perfect top of the first. Now the Alabama Bats will try to get going in the bottom of the first inning here at Rhodes Stadium. And today it'll be Jordan Watson going in the circle for Michigan State, one of several options the Spartans have pitching this year.
Right, they are a mainly drop ball and off-speed changeup kind of pitching staff, so really looking for a big change in speed here, which Alabama has generally struggled with. So we'll see how the Tide handles that. And to start it off, it'll be Kaylee Tao.
Watson 1-1 this season, a 2.94 ERA. She makes her 4th start. And it'll be Kaylee Tao leading it off for the Crimson Tide. What a table setter she has been, hitting .359 to begin the 2019 campaign. Takes the first pitch for a strike. She's hitting .359. KB Sides follows. Bailey Hemphill, Caroline Hardy providing some power in the middle of the lineup, along with Schroeder, Jenkins, Morgan, Wallace, and then Brown. 0-2.
That's a great job here by Watson by getting ahead on Kaylee Tao, who is a big power hitter for this Alabama lineup and makes her have to hit a pitch that maybe she doesn't want. So just great job by her getting ahead.
We'll see Tao's 2-strike approach. Takes ball 1. What a terrific start to the season for Kaylee Tao. Only a sophomore, but part of that sophomore class that Patrick Murphy says is starting to change the culture of this team.
Yes, Maddie Morgan, KB Sides have both really stepped up this year. Kaylee Tao was a big contributor last year, but both of her fellow classmates have also just really worked hard this summer. They went to Japan, had a couple practices there, and then just have really had a standout year so far, filling in for the third base and shortstop holes left by Peyton Grantham and Sydney Booker.
Now with the count even. Watson's 2-2. Ripped into the gap. Base hit for Kaylee Tao. Leadoff double for the Crimson Tide here in the first.
That's a great piece of hitting right there by Kaylee Tao. Again, was down 0-2 in the count, got the pitch that she wanted, and drove it right to the right center gap and was able to leg out a double. I mean, her expression there shows it. Just great piece of hitting. Right in the zone. Jordan Watson probably should not have left that pitch as much down the middle as she did. Not really a great pitch to throw, especially when she was ahead, but great job by Kaylee Tao from taking advantage of that pitch thrown.
Katie Quinlan, the center fielder, eventually retrieved it. First pitch to Sides in there for a strike. AB Sides, part of that outstanding sophomore class from Dora, Alabama. Hitting .375, a home run, 15 runs batted in. Chops it down the left field line. A diving grab made by Eccles. Chance at a double play, and the Spartans have it. 2 gone.
What a great play there by, Katie Ladd, I'm sorry, Ebony Eccles. Just great job tracking down that ball, making the layout catch down the line, because that is a risky play to make, especially with the runner on second base. I mean, if she misses that ball, it goes to the fence, and Kaylee Tao scores easily. But again, made a great play, got the out, and got Kaylee Tao off, doubled off at second.
So this inning completely changes for Michigan State. Now going from runner at scoring position, nobody out, to no one on, 2 outs for the power hitting Bailey Hemphill. So Watson able to pick up 2 outs on just 1 pitch there. Just low, and now Hemphill's in the hitter's count. 2 balls, no strikes. Hemphill with 7 home runs already this year. 25 runs batted in to go along with a .400 batting average. Takes ball 3. At the count 3-0. Let's see if she gets the green light to swing here against Watson. She needed a strike earlier, left it over the plate to Alabama's Talbot, and this time it is a walk to Hemphill.
I mean, great job right here by Bailey Hill by getting the walk. But, I mean, again, Ebony Eccles making a great play. Really a run-saving play here. And then Tao getting off too far, and obviously far enough to where she couldn't get back to where she could be safe. But great job by Ebony Eccles by doubling off Tao. That is a big out there, and really had her pitchers back.
Ball 1 to Caroline Hardy for the Crimson Tide. Really nothing Tao could have done there.
Right. I mean, that's just a lucky break by Ebony Eccles, and just, again, Tao assumed she would probably drop it, which, again, it was a tough play to make.
Strike call, and it's 1-1. Three homers, 7 RBI for Caroline Hardy, native of Vestavia Hills, Alabama, just outside of Birmingham. In the dirt, 2 balls and a strike.
One thing that's really good about this Alabama lineup, too, is the power is spread throughout the lineup. It's not you have a slapper sort of player up in your 1 hole and then 2 holes, same thing. These are very versatile players, and you have to pitch to all of them. You can't pitch around them. So that is one thing that the Crimson Tide does have going for them, where sometimes there may have been holes in the lineup previously, but they do have a lineup where you have to pitch to everybody. You can't walk Bailey Hemphill, and then now you have Caroline Hardy up to bat, who again has 3 home runs. You have to throw to her.
Patrick Murphy, his 21st season with this program. He has built from the ground up in Tuscaloosa, over 1,000 wins in his tenure, as well as a national championship in 2012. 2-2 to Hardy. Breaking ball missed high, 3-2. Not a bad pitch by Watson.
I mean, that's a great location, top of the strike zone, off-speed pitch. It's a tough pitch to take as a hitter, and also to hit. When it is that change of speed, it's tough to adjust to, especially when, again, you're at that point we had a 2-2 count, so you're trying to protect and foul off any pitches that are close.
Hardy sends it to medium deep left. Eccles with a slide, and she makes the catch. That closes out the inning. This inning really belonged to Ebony Eccles in left field for Michigan State, as
I believe the home plate umpire called it as a no catch. I mean, great effort again by Ebony Eccles. She was at the wall practically, and looked like she made a great catch, but I think they're going to go and talk the 3 umpires and make sure that is the call that's going to stand. Oh, never mind. They reversed the call.
Out confirmed, so nothing doing for the Crimson Tide in this bottom of the first. We'll head to the top of the second. One last look as Eccles closed out the inning. have an inning. Ebony Eccles, first of all, made a great diving catch at the line to retire KB Sides, and then doubled up Kaylee Towle at second base for the double play, and then she made the last out of the inning. Caroline Hardy flew out to left field.
I mean, just a great outfielder inning, really. I mean, she made Caroline Hardy's catch there at the end. She was literally at the fence. I mean, ran all the way in, made the judgment call that she could lay out and catch the ball, and then caught it. I mean, it was something that most people didn't expect her to do. Great job by her, though. That was outstanding.
Kinsey Meach leads off this inning. She'll be followed by Caitlin Evelyn and Lexi White. Trying to get this batting order going for the Spartans, who did win earlier today, 8-0 over St. Francis in the first game of the Crimson Classic. A run rule and it only took 5 innings. 2-0. Dr. Stuart Bell, the president of the University of Alabama, meeting Jackie Joseph, head coach of Michigan State, of course introduced by Alabama's Patrick Murphy. Don't see that too often.
Not quite, Murph, I guess. Wow.
Hopefully everyone's all right in that Spartan dugout.
Almost taking somebody's head off over there. That is the one scary thing about being down there on the field is, especially with no screen protection, you got to have your head on swivel. I mean, it is do or die down here.
Well, Joseph, good conversation with Dr. Bell, and she also has been at Michigan State for 25 years. As that's bounced to Wallace. One away, and during her tenure, Nick Saban was the head coach of the Michigan State Spartans, and of course now he's the legendary head coach here at Alabama. He's actually going to talk to the Michigan State softball team after their games are complete today.
Yes, Nick Saban is one of those people that if you ask him here on campus to come and speak with your team, he will more than happily do it, as long as he's obviously not on a recruiting trip or something like that. But he is just a great coach, and again is willing to do anything that he can to help any program here at Alabama, and even Michigan State apparently.
Yeah, she told us they had a great relationship when he was in East Lansing. And that continues to this day. So really great to see that for Michigan State, getting to come here to Tuscaloosa and talk with Coach Saban as well.
Right, absolutely.
Caitlin Evelyn hitting .325. Now down to her last strike against Montana Fouts, who is staying in the strike zone.
Yes, that is one thing that, again, Coach Murphy mentioned this week is that Montana is very accurate. She is going to hit her spot. She's not going to miss very often, and when she does, hopefully the hitters won't capitalize on it, obviously, but again, that is something you don't see a lot from a freshman pitcher.
Another strikeout, her third of the game.
Again, Montana throws this pitch perfectly, sets her up. I mean, again, working in this upper 60s or lower 70s and getting a perfectly thrown rise ball to fool the batter. I mean, that's great pitching, and again, great pitch selection by Stephanie Van Rakel pro throw.
Stephanie Van Rakel pro throw. Yesterday, she celebrated a birthday. She's back at it today with her Crimson Tide, taking on Michigan State, and then later it'll be Alabama against Southern Miss. She's coached some great pitchers already in her Alabama tenure. Montana Fouts, only a freshman, but she is starting to get into some great company as well. And what a bright future she has for the top. Softly popped, and that's foul. 0-2, a chance for another 1-2-3 inning. Lexi White, designated player, hitting .333. Another senior on this very young Michigan State team that lost 50% of its runs batted in from a season ago. Also, they lost 90% of their pitching from last year.
Yeah, completely new pitching staff, and just
got her swinging on the inside part of the plate. 4 strikeouts as part of the 6 outs recorded in order by Montana Fouts. Tied back to the plate in a moment. Tuesday, the number 7 team in the nation is back on the SEC Network when Tennessee hosts Mississippi State in Knoxville, 9 Eastern, 8 Central, and you can always watch it on the ESPN app from anywhere. Hot Sauce defeats Taco. It was a fun in-between innings race. Did you keep up with that when you were a player here at Alabama?
I personally did not, but I'm curious as to what the stats are based on, when you have 3-year-old or 5-year-olds running versus college students.
Base hit Mira Schroeder to lead off the second inning for Alabama, and then it's misplayed by Meach and right. All of a sudden, it's a 2-bagger for Schroeder. Crimson Tide in business.
That is a huge play for Mara Schroeder there, making sure to pay attention to the ball after she, rounds first base, gets her an extra base, and puts her into scoring position. Again, here we'll see it right through the 3-4 hole. Right fielder gets it, and just a routine play turned into a double. I mean, Maris should have been at first all day, but unfortunately had the bobble in right field, so she advanced.
So the single, then the E9, the error on Mackenzie Meach in right field, and a strike delivered to Jenkins. Second straight inning, the Crimson Tide get the leadoff runner to scoring position. Last inning, KB Sides flew into a double play in left field. Now it's Jenkins. Ball on the strike. A couple of homers for Jenkins to go along with her 7 runs batted in. Now she's an upperclassman on this Alabama team.
She is another one of those kids that Patrick Murphy has talked about to us about how she has just really grown as a player from last year to even this year. Again, filling in the spot of Sydney Booker at shortstop and just has been a consistent defensive and really offensive player this year.
Chop to third. Eveland throws her out. First ground ball out's turned in by Jordan Watson in the circle. Eveland at third base. Schroeder in scoring position now with 1 out, and Maddie Morgan's the plate. Started every game at third base for the Crimson Tide, Maddie Morgan. Just foul. Look out, Cameron Ellison, the third base umpire, got out of the way.
That was some lean matrix moves right there. Wow, I don't believe I've ever seen that. I mean, just misses him too. I mean, he had to hit the deck in order to avoid that ball.
Morgan facing a 1-ball, 1-strike count. And that hitter, 2 on for the Crimson Tide.
I will say that is one advantage of having the Evo shield on the elbow is one, you don't have to take the ball off after your actual elbow, and saves a huge bruise to come off of her for sure. But if you take a look at this pitch, I mean, it just barely nicks her, or I don't know. Yeah, nicked her. I mean, if you listen to that, I mean, you hear 2 distinct pops there, so great job by Maddie Morgan taking the base.
Strike call to Skylar Wallace. Well, she's got a good opportunity for the Crimson Tide. Last game for Alabama at UAB on Wednesday had her first home run that actually went over the fence. Of course, did have the inside the park homer to begin her Alabama career.
That is one of the few things that people can say that played. I mean, that your first collegiate home run was one that was inside the park. I mean, you, one, have to have really good wheels in order to do that, and 2, hit it very strategically to be able to round the bases. So congrats to Skylar Wallace there.
Coach Murphy said her fitness level among freshmen is the best he's seen at Alabama at this time.
Would not doubt it. She is a hard worker.
The 0-2. And she swung and missed. So that's a big strikeout for Watson.
That is an incredible pitch. And to go with 2 hard pitches there and then to come back with a changeup, I mean, just completely fooled Wallace here. And unfortunately, or well, I guess fortunately for her, got the strikeout, but unfortunately for Wallace.
A quick circle visit. This is a critical point for Michigan State, trying to keep this a scoreless contest, and a veteran hitter coming to the plate in Alyssa Brown.
Yes, as we've seen, but previously she is a clutch hitter with runners in scoring position. Had a big hit against Minnesota last weekend to end the game in the bottom of the 7th. And if you look back here, we'll take a quick look at it. Had a great hit here, stayed on that pitch and hit it exactly where they're not. And again, Claire Jenkins getting a great jump on this pitch here and being able to get around and score, even if with it being a shallow hit. And then Saturday, Alyssa made a great, just great base running here, showing off her speed, just advancing and doing what she does best for the Tide. And then now making this outstanding catch in center field over the fence, saving a home run for Crystal Goodman and really just helping her pitcher out there.
I think I saw that on SportsCenter.
It was number 3.
Big performance by Alyssa Brown. It's made the transition from the infield to the outfield. It's playing very well. She's hitting .310, but with runners in scoring position, hitting .462. This will be tough. And in time, everybody's safe. Bases loaded for the Tide.
That is perfect placement. If she doesn't get the runner in, this is the best thing the next best thing she could do here. Hitting it on the ground, getting it in the air so it gives her time to get down the line and lets the rest of the runners on base advance as well. And again, great effort play there by the second baseman, but again, not fast enough to get Alyssa Brown.
Elite speed for Brown, and she turns the lineup over so well for Kaylee Tao on the first pitch. Into left, Crimson Tide take the lead. Schroeder scores. Here comes Morgan. It's a 2-0 Alabama lead.
That is nobody gets to third base from first base like Alyssa Brown does. Again, showing off her speed. And again, Ebony Eccles making a great effort here to get her at third, but unfortunately the tag was not in time. Here it is again. Great hitting by Tao, staying on this pitch. She let that go by her first at bat. And again, Watson was probably banking on that here and just dropped it right in front of Ebony Eccles here.
2-run double for Tao. Now 2 in scoring position for Sides. Ball 1.
This is a big opportunity here for the Crimson Tide to take a big lead here in the bottom of the 2nd.
Sides wants some redemption. Flew out in the first inning on a spectacular catch by Eccles that led to a double play. Ball on the strike. Two balls and a strike, so the Tide take the lead with 2 outs in this bottom of the 2nd inning. That's one of the things we heard from Coach Joseph for Michigan State, that with 2 outs, they've not been able to close some innings out.
Right, and that's something that you're going to have to be able to do with big teams like Alabama. They have a mantra that is literally...
Another one to left, and another great catch by Eccles, robbing KB Sides of a base hit. And the inning this time will come to a close. But the Tide strike thanks to a 2-run double by Kaylee Tao. Now as we head to the top of the 3rd, it's Alabama 2, Michigan State 0. Alabama with a 2-0 lead against Michigan State. Later this evening, it will be Southern Miss taking on the Crimson Tide. Good start to the season for the Golden Eagles, already 9-5 to begin the year. So that'll be a tall task for the Tide later on today. Alabama, though, among the best teams in the nation. Of course, if you look at the SEC, top to bottom, the best softball conference in the country. So many teams in the top 25.
Yes, that is something you don't see every day. 9 teams in your conference. In the top 25 in the nation, that is unheard of, and really just shows how good the SEC is. You can't beat that. That's just as good as it gets.
Florida just ahead of Alabama, 3rd ranked in the country, but the Tide now in the top 5. Lainey Joyner knows a little bit about SEC softball. She transferred to Michigan State from Auburn, and next weekend have a chance to play the Auburn Tigers down in Auburn.
That is, I can't imagine having to go back to play, which one, she probably is wanting to prove something to that program that she transferred for a reason, but also kind of cool being able to play back on your home turf where you used to be.
She redshirted at Auburn in 2017 before making it to Michigan State last season. Last year did hit .163, started 13 out of 26 games she could play. Montana Fouts is not allowed a base runner. She has struck out 4. Did not swing, so it stays. Joyner at the plate, now the count at 2-2.
That's a great job by Joyner here, laying off that rise ball. Again, Montana Fouts has gotten so many people with this pitch here, and you can clearly see she laid off of it. So great hitting by her.
Fouts looking for 3 strikeouts in a row. Just off the plate there, 3-2.
Montana
2 walks on the year.
Yep, exactly. I was about to say, does not walk very many people, really goes at these batters and makes them earn their hits, and doesn't give a whole lot of freebies, so you better be ready whenever you step in the box.
Payoff pitch. Right to third. Actually was fouled. Morgan is ready to make the play, and now Joyner will be facing a 3-2 count again. So as a hitter, what's the best approach going up against a pitcher like Fouts?
One thing I would do as a hitter would be to show slap. Really helps you see the ball a lot better, especially when you have such a quick ball coming at you. And then I'd also get in the back of the box so you can see the rise ball better and lay off of it.
Up the middle. The first hit of the game for Michigan State, courtesy of Joyner.
Great job by Joyner by breaking up the no-no so far. I mean, great piece of hitting, staying on this inside pitch and just driving it right where they're not. Right up the middle.
Now Fouts will deal the base runner. Michigan State next to the plate with Melanie McKay. Bunted foul for strike 1. McKay today getting the start at first base. This is the first time in her career she has started at first base for the Spartans. Typically a second baseman.
Coach Joseph had mentioned earlier that they have just stellar middle infielders that they just had to move her over there so they could keep her in the lineup.
Now 0-2 on McKay. They're still working through, finding out the right lineup for them, getting ready for Big Ten play. Same will be said for Alabama. We'll see a lot of different lineups for the Crimson Tide over the 5 games this weekend.
Giving a lot of different pitchers opportunities and players to see where they feel most comfortable, and even putting them in uncomfortable situations and seeing how they react.
After allowing the single, this is chopped to Fouts. There's the first out. Joyner now in scoring position with 1 gone.
This will be a big time for Michigan State to get on the board here. I mean, this is the first runner that they've seen, I believe, at second base in scoring position this game. So with a pitcher like Montana Fouts, you have to take advantage of every opportunity that you're given, and this is one of them.
Batting 9th in the order, Katie Quinlan. Now an opportunity for the Spartans. Strike 1. Showing bunt there. That certainly got the attention of Morgan at third and Tao at first. 318 average for Quinlan. No homers, 1 RBI. Smacks it foul. 0-2. Fouts with the 0-2. Just off the plate. You see that running start for Quinlan, more of a slap hitter.
Yes, but you also see that she has the timing of the slap out front before Montana even throws the pitch. Again, it's a timing mechanism, trying to get on the same page or same speed as Montana Fouts and really just trying to be successful against her.
The 1-2. Got her on the outside part of the plate. 5 strikeouts for Fouts.
What a pitch by Montana Fouts here. I mean, that is a tough I mean, that is right on the black. That's a tough call to make as an umpire, and an even tougher pitch to swing at as a batter, especially when you're a slapper and you have to work with stepping over the line and making sure you actually stay in the box. And just a great pitch by Montana.
5 strikeouts for Fouts now, and that's 1 time through the order. Now the top of the order to the plate with Charla Eccles. Takes strike 1. She grounded out to second base her first time up. Lead off the ball game. Three-game hitting streak coming into this contest. Ball on the strike from Fouts. She is just in her freshman season. Batting right behind her in the order is her sister Ebony. Charlotte just a freshman. Ebony, one of the senior leaders from Michigan State. 2-1. They got to be teammates for 1 year together in Northgate High School in Noonan, Georgia. Now they get this 1 year. I'm sure their parents are enjoying the 1 year they get to play together at Michigan State.
Yes, I mean, being able to travel for both of them at the same place, that is not something that most sisters get to say that they actually do together. Mary Schroeder has a sister that plays at Dartmouth, and again, but her parents are having split time between the two of them.
That's high, 3-1. Haven't seen a walk today from Fouts, but now she's really behind in the counts. See the approach of Eccles ahead, 3 balls and a strike. Hit it sharply, and Michigan State will get on the board. Joyner scores. It's an RBI double by Eccles. 2-1 game.
Great hitting here by Charlotte Eccles. I mean, just putting this ball, hitting it square, getting it to the outfield, and legging out a double on this. I mean, just seeing the pitch low and going with it, not getting her hands too low and then popping it up to second base. I mean, that's great hitting by her and great base running by, oh my goodness, I forgot.
Lainey Joyner.
Lainey Joyner, thank you.
Great speed around the bases.
Yes, great job. And again, MSU capitalized on this and took advantage of the runner in scoring position.
Now Ebony Eccles gets an opportunity to drive in her sister, who represents the tying run. Struck out her first time up, she's knocked a couple of homers, also second on the team with 10 runs batted in. Base hit to left. Charla Eccles stops at third. Ebony Eccles thought about going to second, a big turn at first. Finally the ball back in the circle.
Great job by Mary Schroeder here. Again, hitting her cutoff between home plate and her throw where she threw from. I mean, that saves, again, another runner from getting into scoring position. And, again, good hitting here by Ebony Eccles and getting it through the hole. But here, she gets off big, acts like she's going to go to second, maybe hoping to draw a throw, maybe trying to just play with Maddie Morgan, I guess. I don't know. But great job by, again, Maddie Morgan keeping her at first and keeping another runner out of scoring position.
Now Fouts, second time through the lineup. Already a couple of hits from the 2 Eccles sisters, Charla and Ebony.
This has really been kind of the first test for Montana Fouts here. I mean, nobody's really hit her a whole lot this year, so them stringing a couple of hits together may be shaking her a little bit, but again, this will be a good time for Patrick Murphy to see how Montana responds to adversity.
Runners on the corners, 2 gone. Here's Katie Ladd. Strike 1. Ladd, a strikeout victim her first time up. That ended the 1-2-3 inning turned in by Fouts. Set down 6 in a row to begin the game, and then Lainey Joyner led off the inning with a single. That evens it, a ball and strikes. Just another part of the learning process for Fouts as a freshman.
Yep, just learning the strike zone and being able to find it well and knowing what each really hitter's weaknesses. And obviously with big tournaments like this where there's 4 and 5 teams, it's hard to learn each batter, but as they get into SEC, that may be something that helps her game a little bit and knows each batter's weaknesses and strengths.
Missed inside, 2-1 on Ladd. They'll send Patrick Murphy out of the dugout, and he wants to have a conversation in the circle with Montana Fouts, along with catcher Bailey Hemphill. The SEC Women's Basketball Tournament early round games are right here on the SEC Network. We'll have both first round games Wednesday, before second round games on Thursday, Friday's quarterfinal matchups, and then on Saturday, the semifinals are on ESPNU, with the championship game Sunday, 2 Eastern, 1 Central on ESPN2. You can also watch every game live on the ESPN app. Fouts falling behind in the count against Ladd. 2-1. Right to second, inning over. However, a run scored for Michigan State in the top of the third, and when we come back, Jackie Joseph, the Spartans head coach, will join us live from the field.
Guys, you got me?
2-1 lead for Alabama against Michigan State, and Coach Joseph for Michigan State joins us now from just the edge of the Spartan dugout. And Coach, you got to be proud of your offense against Montana Fouts, scratching out a run in the top of the inning.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm proud of all of it, though. You know, defensively made some great plays, and the pitching was good, so I'm proud of all of it.
Did you tell any of your players anything specific before that inning to get them ready to go and to face Montana Fouts again?
No, I think you get to see her that second time, and, you know, you're just trying to execute the plan that we had coming into the game. So I think we're dialed in. I like the way we look, and, you know, we just got to keep chipping away.
Jordan Watson with the first 2 innings for you in the circle. Now as we look, there's McKenna Gregory taking over. What can you tell us about her?
Well, I think she's going to change some speeds is what we're putting her in to do, and we'll see how well it works.
Coach, thank you for joining us.
Hey, thank you, guys.
New pitcher for Michigan State, with the Spartans trailing 2-1 to the Crimson Tide. It is McKenna Gregory that comes in. Sophomore, California native. Now we'll try and stop this powerful Alabama lineup, and we'll see some power. 3, 4, and 5 hitters due up for the Tide. Bailey Hemphill, Caroline Hardy, and Mara Schroeder. It all starts with Hemphill, drew a walk her first time up. Watson did allow a couple of runs for Michigan State in the last inning, but maybe the second time through the order, like Coach just mentioned to us, gets changed speeds a little bit, a little different look for the Tide.
Right, and this is going to cause the offense to just maybe stall a little bit. I mean, just give them, like you said, a different look to the ball, just a different speed, a different off speed coming out of the hand, just giving them a different perspective and something that they're actually going to have to make adjustments to the second time around.
4.30 ERA for McKenna Gregory. No wins, 3 losses on the season. Again, Michigan State earned a win earlier today against St. Francis, but 4-10 to begin the year. And some of these pre-conference scheduled tournaments comes back with a strike 2-2. Not a bad pitch, just missed.
That is a good spot right there, hitting the bottom left corner. I mean, that's a tough pitch to lay off as a hitter, and a great job framing that also as well behind the plate.
Hemphill right to third, Evelyn with a web gem.
Notice how far she was playing back, though. I mean, that is exactly what Bailey Hemphill is going to do. Hit a shot down the line. I mean, she was there to make the play. Great play there, and again, here it is. I mean, look at that vertical. I mean, her strength coach is probably hooping and hollering back home. Great hit, though, too, by Bailey Hemphill. I mean, just not enough to get it through.
Great extension. A lot of exit velocity off the bat. Hemphill couldn't believe it, but has to smile. What a play by Evelyn. Now it's Hardy. Strike 1. As a pitcher, that's got to be a lift as well, seeing your defense come up with a play like that.
Yes, it definitely makes the pitcher feel like she's not alone out there in the circle, that she's not having to strike out every batter, that her defense can make plays for her. And I mean, Ebony Eccles having her back earlier this game as well. Big confidence booster for these pitchers.
Hardy flew out to left first time up on a sliding catch by Ebony Eccles in left field for Michigan State. She's ahead ahead in the count, 1-2 on Hardy. Gregory's come in and pitched with some poise early on. All of her appearances have been in relief so far this year. Just missed the strikeout, 2-2.
She is really working that off speed here in these last couple of batters. As most people know, Alabama generally does struggle with off speed pitches. And again, in this bottom right or left corner of the strike zone, for a right-handed hitter, that's a tough pitch to discern whether it's a ball or strike.
2-2. Called, third strike, 2 gone.
Great, again, using the off-speed pitch to keep Alabama on its heels and just mixing speeds and not staying too consistent with one speed, but also, again, using that outside part of the plate to really fool Caroline Hardy here. Does not look happy with that call.
Now Maris Schroeder got the Tide going in the last inning with a leadoff single and then took second on the error in right field by Mackenzie Meach. Try to get the Tide going here with 2 outs and nobody on base. Schroeder ahead in the count, 2-0. Now a quick visit to the circle for Michigan State. And Sorten trying to make sure that Gregory gets back in the strike zone.
Yes, that is, and Maris is one of those hitters that is not going to let a great pitch go by. She has no problem swinging on the first pitch if it's the pitch that she's looking to drive. So she needs to be very careful about what she throws Maris here, especially if she throws it in, because she very well could take it to the brickyard.
There are the fans in the brickyard ready for a souvenir. There she is, back in the strike zone, McKenna Gregory.
Bringing back that off speed again, that is going to be something that Alabama's going to have to make an adjustment to, because she is throwing it so frequently. It may be their best option to just say, hey, look, I'm going to go in looking to swing at this off speed, and maybe it'd be an easier pitch for them to sit on and hit.
Inside corner, 2-2. Tide fans can't believe that strike call. Well, the 2-strike approach will be tested for Schroeder. Spartans looking for a shutdown inning after they got a run top of the third. They'll have it. Big strikeout for McKenna Gregory, and the inning is over. When we come back, we'll hear from Alabama head coach Patrick Murphy. His team in front, 2-1. Alabama leads Michigan State 2-1 going to the top of the fourth, and now we're joined on the field by Crimson Tide head coach Patrick Murphy. And first of all, coach, what are you seeing in the circle for Montana Fouts?
Not her best effort so far. She was getting ahead of some kids, but then she got behind their best hitter, their leadoff, and give up the RBI to her. So she needs to start getting ahead more often.
Also, coach, what is your plan for your offense making adjustment to this off-speed pitch?
Swing earlier in the count. We've had some lousy at-bats, really, to tell you the truth. And, runner at second, no outs, and we roll over a ground ball to third base instead of taking it the opposite way, and then take a pitch down the middle and strike 3 looking or swinging, and just need to be better at-bats right now.
Coach, thank you for joining us. We'll let you get back to work.
Thanks a lot.
Patrick Murphy, the head coach of the Crimson Tide. Montana Fouts did allow a run in the last inning after 2 perfect innings to begin the ball game. Now the freshman will focus on middle of the order for the Spartans. Mackenzie Meach gets it going and starts at the strike.
Mackenzie Meach getting her first career home run, actually a grand slam in the game before this. So what a way to start off her, home run career.
Especially here in Tuscaloosa, and a big grand slam against St. Francis earlier. She's driven in 13 runs. Smacks it foul, 0-2. Fouts ahead in the count. Meach from Riverside, California, going into freshman season. The 0-2. Check swing. She did not go around, according to first base umpire Chelsea Clark.
One thing that Coach Joseph had talked about earlier this week was her batters having a more diligent eye in the box, really trying to draw walks, work on swinging at strikes, and that is something that is tough to do against Montana Fouts, especially with that lethal rise ball, and they seem to be doing a great job.
Rhodes foul. Once again, it will be 1-2 on Mackenzie Meach. She grounded out to second base first time up. Fouts has 5 strikeouts. This one's right back to her. One away.
That is one thing, too, that I think Montana does really well is, one, defensively playing. I mean, this is a tough play to make right at you, ball off the bat. I mean, looked like it was coming back pretty hard, but also her face mask, too. I mean, helps her to be a fearless pitcher, not worry about her face getting bashed in by a ball, and helping her really to just be a great player and a safe player at that.
We're seeing more and more face mats now for pitchers. Kayla Eveland up after she had one of the best catches we have seen on the infield, especially this season. A leaping grab that robbed Bailey Hempill of extra bases in the bottom of the third. Struck out first time up. Down evens to a ball and a strike to Eveland.
Another cool stat about Eveland as well is she did get her 73rd walk this game before this and is now 8th in MSU history. So what an accomplishment by her, and just, again, having that diligent eye that Coach Joseph was talking about with us earlier this week.
Down to our last strike here, 1-2. The Spartans entered this weekend having drawn 59 walks. That is second most in the Big Ten, only behind Northwestern. So they have been able to stay patient, but so far today, Fouts has mostly stayed in the strike zone. Ahead 1-2. Right to short. 2 away. Couple of lineouts this inning for the Spartans. Now Lexi White will be their last chance. Top of the fourth against Montana Fouts. There's that swing and miss action from Fouts.
One thing you notice if you look to see where Lexi White was standing in the box on that previous pitch, she was more off the plate hoping to see that inside pitch, but Montana perfectly placing this on the outside of the plate so where she can't reach it.
Down evens to a ball and a strike. We like what we've seen out of Fouts coming back after allowing their run the previous inning.
Yes, absolutely. I mean, just as a freshman and a pitcher in general, when you kind of have not a bad inning, but just a struggle inning, to come back and really be there for your defense, that's something that's big to do, especially as a freshman, and to show the defense that you have the confidence to come back out and get the next 3 or so batters, however many it takes to stop the bleeding.
Circle visit for Hempill. It may have gotten mixed up on that last pitch that missed inside.
I'm sure the time crunch in between each pitch plays a factor into finding the small number on your card and getting the number from your pitching coach as well.
Two one. Into right center, there's Alyssa Brown on the run, and the inning is over. Fouts setting him down 1-2-3 for the third time in 4 innings, tied in front by a run. Defense from Michigan State keeping the Spartans in this 1-run game, especially what we're seeing out in left field. Ebony Eccles patrols there, made this outstanding diving grab there, and then doubled up. Kaylee Tao at second. And she would end the bottom of the first inning with this sliding catch.
I mean, again, great defense by Ebony Eccles. Those are both two really tough plays to make. Just great reads on the ball, and same with this. I mean, having to go back on a ball is one thing, but again, with that short play earlier, that's a tough read. And then the third baseman here making a great grab, saving the pitcher. I mean, just defense is something that Coach talked about earlier that has to be consistent, and clearly they're showing consistently great defense. I mean, it doesn't get much better than that.
Elam with that big grab robbed Hemphill of extra bases. Eccles has been locked down in left field. To the senior leaders on this Michigan State team. Kenna Gregory back to work at a 1-2-3 third inning. Coming on in relief of Jordan Turner. She faces Claire Jenkins, so it's the second trip through the order for the Tide, but for all these batters, first time they've faced Gregory.
Right, they're really going to have to use the previous batters at bats to learn that, one, they either need to swing at the off speed or not let the best pitch go by, you know what I mean? So it's just going to be an adjustment that batters are going to have to make before they step in the box and be ready from the first pitch on. This count here is 2-0 is a big count for Claire Jenkins because this is a hitter's count. This is probably when she's going to see her best pitch, so we'll see if she...
Saw the off-speed pitch.
Saw the off-speed. That is a great play by McKenna Gregory. I mean, perfect time to throw it. She's expecting probably this hard pitch that is most likely going to be a strike and comes back with off-speed that she can consistently throw for a strike. So great decision by her part.
Came back with the off speed. It smacked to center. And there's one away. Quinlan puts it away. Jenkins quickly told Maddie Morgan what to expect before Morgan gets ready to dig in.
With one away, this is a big inning for Alabama to respond to this Michigan State offense. I mean, they, again, came back and got one run. And Alabama only has a one-run lead here, and you don't want to take that late into the game because at that point it becomes anybody's game.
Strike one to Morgan.
I feel sure Michigan State didn't come all the way down here just to, lose by just not showing up, I guess. And so they're obviously ready to play. So Alabama needs to kick it in gear a little bit if they don't want them to hang around.
Staying a tight 2-1 contest. The only scoring play for the Tide was a 2-run double by Kaylee Tao in the second inning. Michigan State added a run in the third. One to Morgan. Popped up. Here's Eveland. 2 away. Five in a row set down by Gregory.
Clearly Alabama's still not making the adjustment that they need to, and maybe Skylar Wallace here will make that adjustment and either hit the off speed, or because once a player hits the off speed, they're not going to see it again because obviously they figured out what her tendency is and when she's going to throw it, and once they sit on it, they're not going to see it again.
Now Wallace with 2 outs. Takes ball 1. Strikeout victim in the first inning, or the second inning, her first time up against Jordan Watson. Bounce to first. Okay, ends the inning. 1-2-3 again for McKenna Gregory. She has set down 6 in a row since she took over in relief for the Spartans. 7th start in the freshman career of Montana Fouts, and she's had some of her best swing and miss action working early.
Really just using this curveball, fastball, rise ball there. I mean, just really working all of the zones and making these hitters look kind of foolish, but also the MSU also getting great hits too in this game as well, getting that 1 run across and making it a real showdown for Montana Fouts.
3 of her 4 innings have been perfect. Only exception was when she faced 6 batters and allowed a run in the third. And it's Lainey Joyner who led off that third inning with a single. Gets to lead off the top of the 5th. So important for Joyner to get on base again.
Yes, I mean, they have 9 outs left to potentially put a dent in this score. And, I mean, again, she was the one who started it last time, so why not let her start it again this time?
Joyner, again, transferred from Auburn to Michigan State. Did not play in her 1 year at Auburn, did redshirt. Bounce just missed, and it's 2-1. Nice movement on that pitch.
See, that one kind of fooled Bailey Hemphill a little bit. One thing, too, if you pay attention to the batters, or Joyner, is it looks like she's almost saying something while she's standing there in the box. She could be doing some sort of swing thought or something like that. I don't know if that's something that works for her or something.
Just low.
Yep, just low, very close. Joyner has had 2 great at-bats against Montana Fouts, really just taking her deep into the count, making her throw a lot of pitches, really just trying to tide her out and then maybe come up with a hit or a walk.
Full counts. Fouts with 5 strikeouts today. That's one fouled back, 3-2. She's just verbalizing the swing thoughts, because now every hitter comes to the plate with just a few thoughts in their head as they're at the plate.
Right, and they say that's something that's very good for, obviously, your mental side of hitting. Hitting is 80% mental, and if you go in the box thinking you're going to strike out, that's not a good way to start off an at-bat.
Inside corner. 6 strikeouts for Fouts.
Great pitch location by Montana Fouts here. I mean, really worked out with her and then busted her in. I mean, doesn't get really much better than that, and has a lot of accolades to show how much she has accomplished even before college. One
of the most decorated incoming freshmen Alabama's had, a 3-time Kentucky Gatorade Player of the Year. All-American according to nearly every service. She is acting like it in her freshman campaign. Okay, fouls the first pitch into the mitt of Hemphill for strike 1. There can be a lot of pressure for a player like her coming in with everybody talking about her as only a freshman, but she's handled it really well.
Right, and that's a credit to, again, Stephanie Van Brakel-Prothro, just preparing her pitchers every day. When you have legends such as Cindy Littlejohn, Alexis Osorio, just to follow behind and really know that Prothro knows what she's doing and be able to trust her and know that she's going to make you a better pitcher. And I think that's what Montana Fouts has done here. And again, you see Alexis Osorio, one of the All-Americans on the new wall that was put up this past week.
Yeah, the new wall here at Rhodes Stadium looks terrific. Coach Murphy was raving about that when we talked to him earlier this week. Already 0-2 on Bakay after Joyner went down looking. Good eye, 1-2. Fouts, 7 strikeouts.
That rise ball has been so effective with her today. I mean, just really going at these batters again and not being afraid to throw it.
Again, Rhodes Stadium getting a facelift in between series. The Crimson Tide played at UAB on Wednesday when we returned home. They were able to look out, the lights were on and the wall being installed. Redecorating Rhodes. Charlotte Morgan honored along with Chandler Dare, Demi Turner. That's just fouled away for strike 1 for Katie Quinlan.
One thing that's cool about this wall, too, is that these players are already graduated. So when they come back to Rhodes Stadium, they get to see their picture essentially on the wall. And some of them even cried when Patrick Murphy told them that they were going to be on the wall. It is a huge honor.
It was great on social media. There are so many of these players that are now on this wall. They posted a screenshot of the text message they got from Coach Murphy saying, "I have to have you on my wall," with a picture of it. And what a great honor. You don't see many programs around the country do this.
Definitely not. And again, it's people it's athletic All-American and academic All-American. So it is a high prestigious honor, like you said, to be put on that wall and essentially be there for the next 5 years to come or until they have to replace it. So very high honor.
Chance here for Fouts to strike out the side in order. A perfect picture of Haley McClenny.
Perfectly, exactly. Perfectly depicts what she does best, diving and making plays in the outfield.
Fouts strikes out the side in order in a dominant fifth here at Rhodes Stadium. Nothing doing for the Spartans. Bottom of the fifth coming up. It's still the Crimson Tide in front 2-1. Montana Fouts, 8 strikeouts today. Fans in Tuscaloosa enjoying a tight contest. 5th-ranked Alabama leads Michigan State 2-1 as we get ready for the bottom of the 5th. Back inside the broadcast booth, Roger Hoover alongside Rachel Bobo, and great to be back with her. Thinking Haley McClenny.
Hey, that's a good company if you ask me.
But the Crimson Tide in a tight contest right now. Montana Fouts really doing everything she can pitching, but now the Tide offense needs to give Alabama some separation.
Yes, they're going to have to make an adjustment against Gregory here. She's really mixing in the off speed, and again, that is something that Alabama has struggled with as of recent, and really just needs to make that adjustment quickly as the game gets later.
Yeah, the change of pace for Michigan State has been great in the circle. 7 outs in a row, including that ground out for Brown for McKenna Gregory in the circle.
Right, and again, these hitters are just going to have to learn from each other, especially for the newer ones that are coming up. I believe the top 3 still haven't faced her, so maybe these 3 can learn and use that information to be successful in their upcoming at-bats.
7 in a row set down. Now here's Tal representing the top of the order, and she's responsible for the 2 runs driven in today for the Crimson Tide. 2-run double back in the second. Now ball and a strike on Tal. 2 doubles for her already today.
Have a day, Kaylee Tal. I mean, that's great hitting and just waiting on the pitch that she wants to drive clearly into the right center gap. I mean, that's just great hitting on her part and great execution.
To second. Joyner makes the play. 8 in a row set down for Michigan State and Gregory. KB Sides will try and spark something with 2 outs for the Crimson Tide. Back to Gregory. Good extension at first by McKay in her first start at first base. And the inning ends. 9 in a row set down. The Spartans still in this game as we head to the 6th. It's 2-1 here in Tuscaloosa. It's been low scoring here at Rhodes Stadium. Alabama with Kaylee Tal did get on the board first with her 2-run double back in the second inning. As the Crimson Tide built a 2-0 lead, but the Spartans got a run back right away in the top of the third. It was Charlotte Eccles who drove in Lainey Joyner to get the Spartans on the board at 2-1, and it has remained a 1-run contest ever since. Largely Rachel Bobo to good pitching.
Right. I mean, Alabama has been retired 9 times. I mean, that is just obviously a full lineup card, but also Alabama's not making adjustments to this off-speed pitch, and that's something you have to be able to do in and at bat, not wait until the second time around, because now they've wasted, 3 whole innings of at-bats, and that is a huge cripple going into the 6th and the 7th. And you know that she's going to keep mixing in these same off-speed pitches because it's keeping these Alabama hitters on their toes. So maybe an opportunity for Charlotte Eccles here to get on base and potentially have the game-tying run on base.
Montana Fouts in the circle for the Tide. She has set down 7 batters in a row and also struck out the side in order in a 1-2-3 fifth. Ball 2 on Eccles. Tide fans want it strike 2.
She has really come back after that third inning run scored by MSU here, just making sure that she's going back to what she does best, going at these batters, hitting her spots consistently, and just making sure that she's doing what she's supposed to do in the circle.
Base hit. Eccles with her 2nd hit of the game. Leadoff single for the Spartans here in the 6th.
That's a great piece of hitting too by Eccles as well. I mean, just waiting for her pitch, knowing that the ball is going to come in the zone because it is Montana Fouts pitching. She throws predominantly strikes, if I'm not mistaken. And again, waiting for the pitch to come, letting it get deep, taking it right through the 5-6 hole right between Mighty Morgan and Claire Jenkins. That's a tough play to make. And again, gets the tying run up on first base.
Well, Charlotte Eccles had the base hit, but she will be replaced at first base by Summer Callahan. Will come in to run. So high fives all around in the Spartan dugout. They're playing with some energy today.
Alabama, I mean, if you look over at their dugout, kind of looks a little flat, which granted half of their team is in the field, but I mean, in a game like this where it does matter, you potentially break your 16-game winning streak, I feel like there should be a little bit more of a sense of urgency and just somebody wanting to step in the box and get the job done.
It's Ebony Eccles, and she takes strike one. She had a base hit back in the third inning that put runners on the corners before the inning would come to an end when Ladd flew out to second base. This is a big moment, though, a game that Michigan State could really afford to win. Only 4-10 overall this year. Most notable opponent they've defeated so far this year has been Memphis.
This could be, like you said, a huge win for them and a confidence booster. I mean, going into the Big Ten where you have teams like Minnesota, Michigan, I mean, Indiana, who, from what I understand, is still one of the few undefeated teams, and just, again, giving them this big confidence in, hey, we can play with these big teams and handle whatever they throw at us.
Smacked foul. It's a ball and 2 strikes to Eccles. Of course, Michigan State was able to snap a long losing streak with an 8-0 win against St. Francis, and getting to play right away after that has got to be great as well.
Yes, to be able to take that momentum into this game and, again, breaking the streak, getting your win, getting back on your feet and getting into a rhythm that obviously was kind of broken up for a little while, and that's huge.
1-2. Eccles staying alive against Fouts. Eccles are hitting .333 with runners on base this year. Fouts 1-2. Got her swinging. 9 strikeouts, Montana Fouts.
Again with the rise ball. I mean, again, MSU needs to make an adjustment just like Alabama does. Alabama needs to maybe sit on that off-speed pitch, while MSU maybe needs to lay off the rise ball. Montana Fouts keeps getting these batters, seeing the ball up in the zone. They need to either get in the back of the box, maybe move up so they can catch it before it breaks, make some sort of adjustment to where they can either lay off the pitch or drive it. But great job by Montana Fouts, using that pitch to her advantage.
Just missed for ball 1 to Katie Ladd, who was 0 for 2, did strike out back in the first inning. Fouts has struck out 8 of the 9 starters for Michigan State. The only player she has not struck out in the ballgame was Charlotte Eccles, who is 2 for 3 and also grounded out for the only time she was retired. That's just low. And it's 2-0 on Ladd. Trip to the circle coming up for the Crimson Tide. So Ladd will get to talk with her head coach, Coach Joseph.
She has really been working with this program, again, working on consistency, not having holes in the batting lineup, and again, consistency with the pitchers as well, making sure that they can have a successful outing and a great start for their defense as well.
Make that 7-9. Mackenzie Meach waiting on deck. She's also put the ball in play twice. Once grounded out to second and lined out to Fouts. And Fouts return to the strike zone here. She does get the strike call. That was right over the plate to Ladd. So I haven't seen a walk today from Montana Fouts, and this is the second or third time she's fallen behind in 3-1 counts.
One thing that Montana, again, does very well when she gets in these situations is going right at the hitters, not really being afraid to trust her defense to make the play. So hopefully she'll keep that alive and keep the batter off base.
Brown over. There's the second out for the Crimson Tide. So Ladd put it in play. Now Michigan State will look for more two-out magic, and it will come from Mackenzie Meach. Cleanup batter who today is 0 for 2, but has put the ball in play against fouls.
0 for 2 for a batter can mean that she's due for a hit. So maybe she's looking at this as an opportunity for the third time that she's seen Montana fouls today and can be successful.
Strike one on that liner that went just foul to the Spartans bullpen.
Bullpen catcher making
Southern
a catch.
Miss.
Oh,
That's Southern Miss getting ready.
making a play.
Brianna Blankenship. Nice catch. Alabama will face Southern Miss next. Crimson Tide trying to continue a perfect start to the season into this ball game, 16-0. A one-run battle right now against Michigan State. There's ball one. Over the plate below.
I will say, too, with playing at home for Alabama, that obviously gives them the home field advantage. And I know from personally speaking, most teams don't want to play in the bottom of this or in the 7th inning with Alabama. So if Michigan State's going to make a run for it here, now's the opportunity to do it, even with 2 outs. You can still make stuff happen.
Breaking ball missed high. Charlotte Eccles started the inning with a single, replaced at first by pinch runner Summer Callahan, and she's had to hang out there with Ebony Eccles striking out and Katie Ladd flying out to center. Callahan with great speed at first base. 2-1. Inside pitch to third. Maddie Morgan ends the inning. Montana Fouts gave up the leadoff single, but then 3 batters in a row retired after that. Tied to the plate next. Alabama's first game in the Crimson Classic really starting to go down to the wire. Alabama has held on to a 2-1 lead ever since the 3rd inning when Michigan State scored its run. The Tide had their 2 runs in the bottom of the 2nd. But for the Crimson Tide, nothing doing against McKenna Gregory. She has set down 9 in a row. She waits on this and makes it 10 in a row. Monday, our next SEC Inside gives you an all-access pass to Georgia and Ole Miss basketball for never-before-seen footage and sounds from the season so far. Special times again this week, Inside the Bulldogs at 7 Eastern, 6 Central. Then it's the Rebels right here on the SEC Network and the ESPN app. So after the pop-out by Hemphill, here's Hardy. There's a strike call. Now, Hemphill and Hardy leading off this inning, they do represent Tide players who have seen Gregory once already. So how do they adjust in their second ABs?
Again, just recognizing the off speed, maybe even setting up to where, hey, that's what I'm looking for, because she does throw it so frequently that, and she throws it for a strike. That's the other key. So some pitchers may throw an off speed that fools hitters, but being able to see it as a strike can maybe be an advantage for the hitters here. But again, Gregory using this to her advantage because Alabama does struggle with an off speed pitch typically. So that would be my approach, is maybe sitting on the off speed.
Off speed again popped up, second time this inning. McKay puts it away, 2 gone.
The key, though, about adjusting to the off-speed, though, is you cannot try to do too much with it. You can't try to hit a home run off of it. Obviously, that's what everybody wants to do, but making sure that you just put it where they're not, just kind of poke it through the infield, get it out of the infield, get on base, and then that gives Alabama the opportunity to at least get a runner on base and maybe even score her. But again, Gregory doing a great job to keep Alabama on their toes, and Alabama still not being able to really figure out the off-speed.
Now it's Maris Schroeder. 2 gone in the 6th inning. Showed bunts, fouled it away. She had the leadoff single in the 2nd inning that led to the Crimson Tide picking up a pair of runs. Otherwise, not much else for the Crimson Tide offense today. 2 runs on 4 hits in this game. to center. Quinlan, inning over. McKenna Gregory has worked 4 perfect innings out of the bullpen for Michigan State. To the 7th, it's a 2-1 game in Tuscaloosa. 7th start for Montana Fouts, and she is 3 outs away from making it her 7th complete game. She has had a lot working for her today.
Montana has really been using this rise ball, just getting these hitters left and right in. I mean, not really making an adjustment to it, but also using her screwball and even her fastball here to keep pitchers on or batters on their toes, and just again making them work for these hits and getting on base. So great job by Montana Fouts, and again Bailey Hemphill behind the plate too, being able to catch such a high-paced pitcher as well.
On the first pitch to Jenkins, bobbled, and the error begins the inning for Michigan State. Evelyn reaches safely.
That's a tough play by Claire Jenkins, but also one that needs to be made, especially in a crunch time like this when it is the top of the 7th and you could potentially have 3 outs in the game be over. Claire Jenkins has been one of those players too that has been rock solid for the Alabama defense, and for her to make this error, let's see how she responds from it. From what we understand from Patrick Murphy is that she is a completely new player this year, and previously probably would have kind of collapsed with that play, but she has been able to come back from that before.
It's only her 2nd error of the season. Base hit to center. 2 on, nobody out for the Spartans.
Great hit right here by Lexi White. I mean, really attacking the zone, not waiting for Montana to, throw balls, maybe block her. Just getting a great solid hit, and Alyssa is trying to get the ball to second base in time to get the runner out at second on a force, but still, great job hitting by Lexi White.
Stephanie Van Brakel pro throw in the circle, having a visit with Montana Fouts and the entire Crimson Tide infield as this inning got off to the tough start with the error. White followed with a single. They actually got Lainey Joyner. Here's another look.
I mean, again, kind of a bad hop there at the end. Maybe let it get too deep between her. And then here's the base hit to center field. Alyssa Brown playing a little deeper, kind of a tough play to make and try and lay out for. So great job by her by keeping in front, but again, puts a runner in scoring position to where the game-tying run is at second, and with a base hit, she will probably score.
Abby Joseph just entered the ball game as a pinch runner. Still Evelyn the lead runner, the tying run in scoring position. Montana Fouts will now focus on Lainey Joyner. She did have a base hit back in the 3rd inning that sparked the only run scoring inning for the Spartans. Showed bunts, and that's strike 1. Do you like the bunting strategy here?
Bunting, yes, absolutely. With no outs and you have a runner on 1st and 2nd, it gives the opportunity for a sac fly to tie the game up and also a base hit as well, or even a squeeze if you wanted to throw that into the mix, depending on what hitter you have up to bat. But also with Lainey Joyner, she has seen pitching like this before, so one, she should be able to get the bunt down or base hit if she needs to.
But in that fell, so she's down to her last strike here. Speaking of strikes, 9 strikeouts, no walks today for Montana Fouts. Time of the game where she could use a strikeout the most. The 0-2. 10 strikeouts for Fouts.
Again, Montana really using that rise ball to go at these hitters and get her strikeouts for out number 1, and that is a huge out because again, they could have used that at bat to advance the runners, but unfortunately Joyner not able to get the bunt down and then eventually strike out.
Just the 2nd double-digit strikeout game for Fouts in her freshman campaign. Her career high is 12 strikeouts. She had that against South Florida on February 15th. More changes for the Spartans. This is the spot in the order of Melanie McKay. However, Kelly Zerickson will be the pinch hitter.
This is a senior on their roster, so I'm sure she has had ample amount of opportunity to prove herself in the last 4 years, and this may be one of them where the coach gets her gut feeling and feels like that Zackerson will be successful and hopefully get the run across.
Hitting only 125. Smacked foul for strike 1. Earlier this season, Zackerson had a double, 4 runs batted in, and the games played in Atlanta. He's played in 10 games so far this year. Has provided some key pinch hits off the bench in her career. Big swing and miss there, 0-2. Fans fired up for Fouts. 10 strikeouts already today. Make it 11. So now the Tide an out away from starting this season at 17-0.
That is unheard of in Alabama history, and I mean any kind of streak like that where you keep getting on a roll, and in a tough, close game like this, that is huge for the Alabama players to keep that going, keep the momentum. And in games like this, it makes it fun to be a part of such a special program, and again to continue that streak into the next game.
Best over 27-0 back in 2001. The Tide trying to make it 17-0, and again they will take on Southern Miss after this ball game is completed. And we'll have a broadcast for you here on SEC Network Plus. Now a pinch hitter, it will be Riley Paxson to the plate. 2 on with 2 gone after the first 2 got on. Back-to-back strikeouts for Fouts, and if she can strike out Paxson here, she would tie her career high. Strike 1. Paxson is hitting .235. A couple of runs batted in. Just needs to keep the inning going. Doesn't have to tie the game, doesn't have to hit a homer to give them the lead. Just keep the line moving.
Right, just pass it down, get it to the next hitter, either load the bases or maybe even get lucky and get the run in on second base as well.
Now Fouts ahead in the count, 0-2, needing 1 more to get the Tide to 17-0. Also tie career high with 12 strikeouts.
One thing too about playing here at Rhodes as a away team is you need to make sure not to let the crowd get in your head. Really just stay within yourself, zone in on the pitch, see the pitch, and hopefully be successful.
The 0-2. Just off the plate. An appeal, no swing. How tough is it to come off the bench cold facing a pitcher like Fouts?
Well, ideally, you're in the game, you're invested, so it shouldn't be like you're coming off the bench. It should be that you're getting an opportunity to potentially score the game-running or game-tying run and help your team get closer to a W.
The 1-2. Low, it's 2-2. You know Fouts wants that last out. You know she'd like that last strikeout too.
Absolutely, especially with giving up those string of hits earlier. This is where, as a pitcher, you really need to dig deep and get the strikeout or the ground out, whatever it may be, to get your team closer to the win.
Now the 2-2. To Claire Jenkins, an error earlier. Now she gets the final out at second, and the Crimson Tide are 17-0 to begin the 2019 campaign. A 1-run victory over Michigan State.
Great job by Montana Fouts, again, finishing this game, staying in it, not letting the pressure of a 2-1 game get in her head, and really just going at these batters and getting the strikeouts when she needed it and the ground outs. And also great job to Claire Jenkins for coming back from the error before. That's, again, pretty much the same play right up the middle, and just making it a routine play, toss over to Skylar Wallace at second base. Great win by Alabama, and great fight by MSU, at least staying in the ball game and making it interesting and putting some pressure on the Alabama defense.
Fouts certainly had to work, but she has had 7 starts, she has had 7 wins, and 7 complete games. Incredible.
Yeah, incredible job by Montana Fouts, absolutely.
Big performance with no walks, 11 strikeouts today. Did allow that run back in the 3rd inning, but after that,